So if we feel confident and we can get that job or we can get back into the industry, or if we go out and we feel really good about ourselves, then the mood of the house changes as well. Everyone picks up on that, and and it's nice, isn't it? If you can go out and someone go, "Oh, that colour looks amazing on you." It's just nice to feel comfortable in your own skin again. And I think as our bodies change and we change, we can lose sight a little bit of that and think it's not important, but it's really important.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is Charlotte Broom, personal stylist at Charlotte Loves Style. As a mother of two and businesswoman, Charlotte knows exactly how it feels to be stuck in a style rut. She empowers women to discover their unique personal style, takes the stress out of outfit planning, and helps edit wardrobes to fit your real life needs. So whether you're navigating life changes or learning to dress for a body that's constantly evolving, Charlotte's here to help you feel confident and stylish again. Welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you ended up being a personal stylist.
Yeah, so I grew up with a mum that was into dressmaking. We constantly dodged the needles that are found in the carpet and things like that. So she used to make all my dresses and all types of things. So I've always had an interest in it. I've always had a fascination for it. And then I worked for my aunt who had like a haberdashery shop. And I just loved touching all the fabrics, all the trimmings, everything like that. So I always knew it was something I wanted to go into. So I started off in manufacturing. I used to be a designer, put together collections and ranges, and which would get selected. Then I'd go out to the Far East and source all the trimmings and the fabrics and see it from the beginning of its journey to the end. So yeah, it was really good. I loved it. I absolutely lived and breathed it. It was such a brilliant industry to be in. And then I had my boys and I realised that I couldn't do that any longer. I couldn't do the long trips abroad, the times that I'd be spending working hours. So it was kind of what I was going to do. So I worked for a ladies' wear company initially and started doing all the trade fairs. And I realised I actually liked speaking and talking to the women and helping them. So that's when I decided I'd be and trained to be a personal stylist. So I've been doing it now for over 4 years and I absolutely love it. It's just brilliant.
Nice. It's nice to do something that you're passionate about, isn't it? And that you love.
Yeah. And I think it's great to make a difference. And I think people always think with fashion and clothing, it's a bit shallow, it's not the most important thing in the world. But actually, it's really important because especially as women, we focus so much on our children and our families or work or whatever else. We put ourselves a bit on the back burner. And actually, we're the ones that need to, be there. And if we don't work, nothing works in a family situation. So if we feel confident and we can get that job or we can get back into the industry, or if we go out and we feel really good about ourselves, then the mood of the house changes as well. Everyone picks up on that, and it's nice, isn't it? If you can go out and someone go, "Oh, that colour looks amazing on you." It's just nice to feel comfortable in your own skin again. And I think as our bodies change and we change, we can lose sight a little bit of that and think it's not important, but it's really important.
Definitely. And it's not, I think, as you just touched on, it's not just superficial, is it? I think clothing, because as we, our bodies change and we go through perimenopause and menopause, you can really lose yourself in that. But it's not just about how you look, is it? Because, feeling confident in your clothes, it affects you at work, doesn't it? Your confidence at work, how you feel in a meeting, it affects, whether you want to go out with your friends. So it's has a much wider impact, doesn't it, than just how you look.
Exactly. And I think we're very, there's a lot of women that I work with who do go through like weight fluctuation, things like that. The natural thing is just to hide ourselves, like find the biggest item and just drown ourselves in the clothes. But actually, we're just making ourselves look bigger and more uncomfortable. And it's kind of when you sort of understand your body and embrace your curves. And we know we've all got parts of our bodies that we aren't particularly wanting to put out there, but we've got parts of our bodies that are amazing. And I think you project that confidence as well. When you put that colour on that suits you, or you put that outfit on that you feel really good in, the confidence comes out. And it also, people you're with picks up on that vibe as well. It's a very positive vibe and it kind of picks everybody up. So I think, it's really important.
Yeah, and I think probably that's where having a personal stylist would be really helpful for a lot of people, because I think I know myself, when my body shape started changing, that I felt like nothing in my wardrobe looked
Mm.
right. You know, all the things that you've learned over the course of your lifetime of what you think you look good in,
Yeah.
that just all completely goes out the window, doesn't it? You can end up just standing there looking at your wardrobe like
Yeah.
nothing looks good, nothing fits. You know, you have all these things that are, you know, you keep to the side because they might fit you again one day.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
the
you
thing
really
about
need to
body
start again, don't
changes.
you?
Yeah, and I think, but you do and you don't. So, like, you know, you've got a style personality, so that may not have changed. You still might be a very classic dresser, or you might be a very relaxed dresser, or you might want to elevate your style, or you might want to embrace colour. But it's kind of understanding your body shape, and ways and tricks to work with that. So, you know, there's just little things that really really help. So, for example, if you've got a bigger bust, you know, there's no point in wearing like a big roll neck that's up here that causes that shelf. It's just knowing little things, and it's not that you can't wear what's in your wardrobe. It's just maybe a different way of wearing it. And but you don't
Okay.
know what you don't know.
I love that saying, you don't know what you don't know. It's that's so true. Got 5 top tips to help us get out of our style rut. So I think the first one is fit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's really important. And that goes back to understanding your body shape. And very often when I work with a client, we have like a questionnaire that we fill in so I can get to know them, and I can hit the ground running when I meet them. And fit is really, really important because it plays such a big difference in how clothes fit you. So it's very easy in this day and age where you've got social media and you're seeing someone do a big haul of all these different clothes and like, oh, I really, really like that. You order it and it's like, oh, it's not like that on me. And it's really disappointing. It's like, but if you understood your body shape, you'd know that wouldn't, you know, you'd just rule that out completely. Or you'd go, well, I can wear that, but I need to wear that a little bit differently.
Mm.
So I think it's really, I know, like when I work with my clients, it's important to sort of just measure yourself. And I know people are like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. What? I don't want to know the numbers. It's like, but it's really, really important. It's just a number. It literally is a number to get you where you need to be. So just by knowing your body shape and knowing so for example, one of the classic things is sometimes people go, like jeans is always nemesis, isn't it? People are like, oh, I really hate shopping for jeans. And it is hard, but if you knew what your front rise measurement was and you're very high waisted, there's no point in having a really short front rise because they're going to be
Mm.
like hipsters on you. But if you know that measurement already, and very often, not all stores, but some are getting better, you can click on like a size chart and it tells you what that measurement is. So if you go on it and
Okay.
your front rise is 15 and you've ordered a pair of jeans that are 10, it's not going to look the same, you know, it's just understanding sort of your body shape really.
Yeah, I've
But I
got
think
no idea what my measurements are.
no, because we don't, you know, it's not until you think, oh, actually that really makes sense. Or you'll order a pair of trousers, I've done it before, like I'm only 5'3" at a push, I think. So I know that if I'm looking at someone even in a shop and I see a 6 foot model, because sometimes they do tell you how tall the model is, I'll know instantly that's going to be way too long for me, but it might not be long for me because length on legs you can change. So, like a wide leg trouser, it doesn't matter. Get the size so you get it, and then you can alter up the height of the trouser to where you want it to be. But if that front rise is too long, it's going to be like halfway between your thigh and your knee. So you know that instantly. And I think it's getting to know the shops that really work for you because they all have an ideal client. You know, they do. You know, they have who they're aiming to sell it at. So when you work at the design stage, you know automatically who you're designing that for. You know who your ideal client is or your ideal shopper is. And that's how you'll work it out. And it might just be that, you know, you can go into, I don't know, I mean, Topshop doesn't really exist anymore, but if you had if you're a size 8 in M&S, you wouldn't necessarily be a size 8 in Topshop.
No. I was always H&M girl until I hit perimenopause. And then, like, I thought my clothes were shrinking. It's like literally, I'd go
Yeah.
shopping and then I'd put it on like the next week, and it'd be like, "Oh, this quality of this fabric is rubbish now. It must be shrinking." But actually, it was me. And then I transformed and morphed into M&S lady. I'm like,
Really, absolutely smashing it at the
yeah,
moment.
it did have a bad rep, didn't it, Marx's at one point?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I wouldn't. I know that it will fit me. I've got the short lengths in the trousers. I think Marx's is well, it's my go-to. It's winning at the
yeah,
minute.
yeah. It's brilliant. It is really, really good. I mean, in store is slightly better for like availability of stock. Very often I do like a shopping board. Sometimes I work with clients remotely and I'll send them a shopping board. If I've worked with them before and done their wardrobe edits, I know their style, I know their rough shape, I know their rough measurements, so I can suggest things that they can just update their wardrobe with. But yeah, M&S is notoriously bad for stock levels, so that's the only thing. But in store, you go to the bigger stores, they've got all the collections, they've got lots of different brands in there. It's a really good store. I really rate it. I think it's very good.
Move on to your next tip, which is fabric.
That's the biggest thing, and I think it's really hard because I've worked with fabrics for years and years, and they use different fabrics for different reasons. So like one of the things that's had a bit of bad press is obviously polyester. It's not very sustainable, but it does dye really, really well. So when you've got those lovely bold prints, polyester fabric is brilliant for that. It absorbs it, it holds that vibrancy, but obviously it also is a sweat fest. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's like putting a dustbin bag on you. Like you can try a dress on sometimes, and even some of the most expensive of dresses. I had a client that she went, I absolutely love this dress. It fits me beautifully, but I just don't understand why I don't wear it. And then it's like, well, she'll put it on and it's like, oh, now I remember because I get so hot. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's polyester. Your skin can't breathe. That's really important to look at the care label and see what the fabric is. I'm not saying there isn't a place for it because it's a really durable fabric. Lots of places are now doing recycled polyester. So I'm not dissing it completely, but understand you're going to sweat in that fabric. If you're having hot flushes.
Yeah, I was going to say, night sweats, hot flushes, you're not feeling great. You're going to be this hot, sweaty mess walking down the road. Yeah, not a good look.
Exactly. It'll be like, Felicia Beaker. It's horrible when you get a hot flush, isn't it?
It is.
It's like an internal heater, isn't it, in your body? And there's just no way of getting it out of your body quick enough. But yeah, things like, like polyester is notoriously bad for that. So look at silk. Silk is a natural fabric. It's meant to let your body breathe, and wool, and just look at the different types of fabrics and buy the best you can afford to buy. So instead of buying that acrylic cardigan, which I can't wear anymore because do you remember when you was little and I used to chew on the buttons and it's that kind of of your teeth?
Oh no.
I can't wear acrylic for that reason. It's back. So just go for a lovely merino wool. It's just much more breathable. Obviously cashmere is amazing, but you do have to look after that. That's the only side of it. If you're investing in something like a cashmere jumper, you're going to be spending maybe 80 upwards.
Yeah.
So you need to look after it. It's a natural yarn. You will need to look after it.
But the thing is, I'm like all in on comfort now. And a lot of the women I work with are as well. Like, you just want to feel comfortable and good in your clothes anyway. So you're going to get that repeated use out of it. So it's not, it's an investment, like you say, but it's not going to be something that you're going to be throwing away next week. It's something you're going to keep using for like forever, essentially.
Yeah. So if you've got a polyester blouse, and obviously that makes you really, really hot, if you switch it to a silk blouse, not only will it drape beautifully, but you'll feel nice in it, your skin can breathe. And I think a lot of other people, like I've got really sensitive skin, and since going through menopause, it has really accentuated.
Yeah,
whereas wool has always irritated me, so I've always avoided some wools. But yeah, now I can't even anywhere near me. It makes me want to itch straight away. So it's that kind of thing. And you're going into the office, or you're doing a presentation, or whatever you're doing, you don't want to be uncomfortable. All you want to be doing is thinking about that talk you're going to do, or you don't want to be worrying that you're going to be itchy, or it's just not nice. No. So if you look on the care label, because a lot of other people say, Charlotte, I'm not buying silk because I have to dry clean it. I can't sustain that. And I'm like, but a lot of the silks you can wash now. So just look, might be like
I'm going to let you in on a little secret then. So the silk tops that I've got say dry clean only, but I wash them on the gentle wool cycle, and they're fine.
Yeah, and actually sometimes when people hand wash, they wash it at a lot higher temperature than a machine hand wash on delicate. So it's that. But do look. I mean, I wouldn't. I hand wash all mine, or put it in a delicate wash. But sometimes you do have to be a bit careful if it's got like a print on it. The print might run. So just I wouldn't say you can always wash the machine one, because I don't want everyone feels.
Yeah, imagine that blaming us then for all the ruined clothes. Okay, so your next tip is about knowing your measurements.
Yeah. And I think, like I'm more than happy if any of your, anybody that You talk to, I can send them like a little measurement guide if they want to. I can send it to you later, like a little PDF on where you measure. So like you would measure like your shoulders, you measure your bust, you measure your waist, you measure your front rise and your leg, inside leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just good to have those because stores are getting better if you order on, and even if you're in store, you can always go onto their online and see if their size chart's there, just to see, I mean, you can gauge it by eye. You start to gauge things by eye, or if you've got a pair of jeans or a pair of trousers that fit you an absolute dream, measure that. Measure that front
Yeah.
rise, measure that inside leg, because it's going to roughly be the same. I mean, fabrics change. And the other thing you've got to bear in mind, having worked in manufacturing, especially denim is notoriously bad for that, is it depends on the wash process it goes through. So, like, you can have a denim blue jean that it fits an absolute treat. You think, brilliant, I know that I'm that waist, I know that inside leg measurement, I'm going to order at that in black. And then you
Mm-hmm.
get it and it's like, oh, it feels completely different. It's just because they've gone through different wash processes.
Oh,
Theoretically, they
okay.
should be
I
measured
didn't know
after
that. So that makes a lot of
before.
sense actually. Because like like when you're reading reviews and people say, "Oh, I
Yeah,
ordered them in whatever color, but it fits completely different." I don't get it. So that's exactly why then.
yeah. So that's one of the reasons it's a wash. It could be made in a different factory as well. So, like when you work with a factory, they get given a size specification chart. Just has all the different measurements for all the different sizes along the top. And then there'll be an intolerance. So, say for example, on the waist, the intolerance is 1 centimetre, which is quite big. It probably wouldn't be as much as that, maybe 0.5. But it's either way. So actually, it could be one could be -1, the other one could be +1. So you've got 2 centimetres difference. It's a lot. And also when, from my experience of working in the industry, they have a fit model and then they'll grade it accordingly for each. And it's mass production. There's not much you can do about it unless you go tailoring, then obviously then it'll be bespoke and measured to you. So just bear that in mind. Don't always think, oh God, I was a blooming size 10 yesterday and today I'm a 12 or
Well,
whatever.
so the whole thing, I know there's people have in their mind, don't want to buy that size. I'm not that size, whatever that particular number is for them that
Yeah,
upsets them. This,
yeah.
it's actually we really need to like kind of come away from that, don't we? It needs to be almost like that size is just a rough guide of what might fit
It's a
you
number.
rather than
Yeah, absolutely. So it might be made in a different fabric, and fabric's different. Different fabrics have different shrinkage. Different fabrics have different gives as well. Some have got a bit of elastane in, so they'll give a bit. Some don't. For pure cotton, they'll have absolutely no give. But it's also to do with like your body proportion. I mean, that's like a whole nother thing. But if you're very high waisted, if you ordered like a normal waisted trouser, it would be lower than someone who's got like a shorter waist. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's those. So that's why I say it's really important to spend a bit of time. And I know we don't always want to do it, but we need to get over that. We need to look in the mirror. We need to look at ourselves and go, right, okay. So my measurement of this is that. I am either long bodied, short bodied, whatever those are, so that you know how to dress for your body. Because when you actually put those clothes on, it's irrelevant. You cut the label out if you want to. I mean, I have clients that go, no, Charlotte, I'm not going to lose a bit of weight before I do it again because, I don't want to be a size 18 or a size 16. It's like, but just cut it out. If it bothers you, look how beautifully it drapes. Why are you worried? And then the other thing is get it tailored. And I
Mm,
think that kind of, it's hard for people to kind of spend money on something they've already spent money on, isn't it? It's that kind of thought process. So I had one lady that had a pair of jeans and they were just the wrong length. They were just too long for her. She needed to shorten them. They're a wide leg jeans. She could do it. It didn't affect but no, Charlotte, I spent £40 on that. I'm not going to then spend another £10 to have it hemmed. I'm like, do you wear it now? And they're like, well, no. And then she messaged me later and she went, I did get it hemmed and I wear it all the time. They're my favourite jeans. Why get your mind? It's like it's £10. It's 2 coffees or like
so
nearly
it's
2
finding a
coffees.
good tailor as well, isn't it? Someone you can go to that you can trust
Yeah,
and go back to
yeah,
regularly. Yeah, because it does
yeah,
make a big difference, I think, having those little
yeah.
tweaks to fit you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can do. There are some things that are too expensive to do, that wouldn't be worth your while doing it. But definitely like, especially for petite ladies, they might find jackets are really long in the sleeve. So you can get, they just take it out the armhole, they bring it up and then re-sew it, and then it's right for you. Do you know what I mean? It's those little tweaks that makes that garment feel so much better for you. Which is why
Mm.
I always start in the wardrobe, because lots of people go, no, I'm going to get rid of the whole lot, start again. It's like, no, we're not. We'll find some little gems in there. Definitely. I've never touched wood. I'll say that now, but I've never not. So, but it might be, well, don't wear that as a suit. If your life doesn't lead to having a suit, then just wear the jacket of a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
But maybe we might need to increase those sleeves up a bit, or it might be really broad here, because sometimes, especially when you're bigger busted, the idea is then to make broad, and then it really broadens you. But just by bringing it in a little bit will then help create that curve. Just those little things make a
Yeah,
massive
so it's
difference.
little tips that you wouldn't think of yourself, but again, having someone like you around, it's
Yeah,
that kind of bit of guidance, isn't it? Having that insider knowledge to go, look, this can
yeah,
be adjusted in this way, and you look really good in it.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
So your next tip is to invest in the basics.
So I do an awful lot of wardrobe edits, and majority there are not. It's missing some of the basics. So if you think of when you bake a cake, you need the flour, you need the milk, you need the eggs. There's no point in having loads of sprinkles because you've got nothing to put it on. So it's the same with a
Yeah,
wardrobe. It's like I've got lots of going out tops or lots of tops, but they don't actually go with anything other than the one thing I bought it to go with. So, but
yeah.
if you had those basic pieces, then you will always have the glue that sticks it all together, the flour and the eggs, and then you can put your sprinkle of a jacket on, or your nice new necklace, or your nice
That's
top.
a great tip.
You know,
So what are
yeah.
our investment pieces then? What are our basics that we need?
Well, it depends on your lifestyle. So everyone is different. So for example, we talked about cashmere jumpers, yeah. So having good quality jumpers, they don't have to be cashmere, they can be merino wool, which is equally a nice fine knit. So maybe you'd have a few jumpers. You might have a smart pair of jeans. You might have a more casual pair of jeans. You might have a very nice cut tailored trouser, or you might be more wide leg trouser. So that's where I was saying about, like helping finding your style is really important, because I wouldn't give a list of basics for someone to order who probably have a completely different style personality to another person. So the basics suit you and your lifestyle and your style. And then it's just building up those. But yeah, so for example, if you wore a blazer, but maybe you're not a blazer person, so maybe you have a nice cardigan, yeah, in your colours. So that's the other thing, is to sort of understand your colours. So I work with clients and do like colour analysis. So the concept behind that is when you drape yourself in a colour, what does it do to your face? So does
Hmm.
it make your skin glow, or and your eyes pop, or does it kind of weigh your body down? So
Hmm.
you can do that yourself if you want to. I mean, I've had people that have gone into like accessorize where there's like millions of scarves and millions of colours, and then just draped it. Because I think knowing your colours as well really helps. Because when you walk into store, I know I'm a spring, so I wear all the nice bright colour springs I can. But then if I go into a certain time of year, it's all really like sort of muted shades and mottly, and they just do nothing for me. They just don't do anything for me. But I know
Mm.
I won't even try those on. Just the top half, I can wear what I want, and you can wear what you want on your bottom half. But it just helps when you walk into store going, it's lovely. And on that type of person, it's going to look beautiful. But on me, it's just going to drain all my colour. So I think the most important thing is you know what your style is. So you know that I don't know, maybe you're very classic in the way you dress. You like maybe your shoes and your bags to match, say, for example. You like a simple silhouette. Or you might be quite, fun and trendy and like all the big prints and the bold colours. And it's just an expression of yourself. We talked about that earlier,
Mm.
didn't we? Where you're expressing yourself. I wouldn't say to someone, right, these are your colours. So like in spring, you can have some really like vibrant, bright colours. And they'll be like, my God, Charlotte, like I've literally just been in black for the whole of my life. I'm never going to start wearing cobalt and cerise together, or whatever the colours are. But maybe you'll have a bag in it, or maybe you'll have a scarf in that colour. And then a few people will say to you, oh, you look good today. You look really, really
And
well.
I do think yourself, don't you? Like when you've
You do.
tried, like I can think of certain things that I've got in my wardrobe that I've probably had for a few years now, but guarantee I'll put them on and I feel amazing every time I wear
Yeah,
that, without doubt. Like
yeah,
I'm thinking about this like green boho dress that I wear, like I pull it out every summer, and I'm like, oh, and everyone always comments on it. But I think it's what you said as well earlier about how you feel in an outfit, how that translates to how you're putting yourself out there.
yeah. But you already know that's your wow outfit, yeah? So then that's
Mm.
how you start working out your wardrobe. Well, this I feel really amazing in. So how can I interpret this in my other items of clothing? I'll have a wide leg trouser, and then maybe I have like a pussy bow blouse in that sort of colour, that kind of boho theme, and then you start to build. It is a gradual thing. You know, you don't want to go out and buy a whole load of new stuff you don't know, so it's really important just to gradually incorporate it. But when you've got those basics, so you've got like a wide leg jeans maybe, or you've got wide leg navy trousers, because they generally suit most body shapes, and then you've got your merino wool jumper, so already you just need to pick a nice blouse to go with that. You've got an outfit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you've got a blazer, but you're going to use a cardigan, but you've got those other bits that you tie all together. So you then, you know, like people are always amazed, like, oh my God, we just made 30 outfits from just those clothes. And it's just because it's those core pieces. If you're missing that, then nothing's going to mix and match and go together.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I've made that mistake in the past. I think what you were saying about buying something, but it only goes with one thing. It's also pulling all those bits out your wardrobe, isn't it? And playing around with clothes, because I think it's really easy just to get stuck in a rut. That you go, well, that's
It's
what I
so
wear that
easy.
with. But actually, if you pull stuff out and have a play around in your bedroom, try different things on.
Exactly. But then you've got that. I mean, this, you know, like this is the ideal time to do it, right? I mean, there's always time to do it. When the changes of the season's a really good time to do it. Like when you've got that time off maybe between Christmas and New Year, it's kind of like a lull and you might have time off, or you're not so busy with work, then that's the time to do it. Everyone else is just like full up on sweets. It's grabbing those times. But yeah, and just if you have an outfit that you feel really good in, just take a picture of it. So those mornings you feel really rubbish, just look, well, what did I feel good in? Oh, I really
Yeah.
like that. So then you've got already, you're starting to build like a catalogue of things that, you know, that you like. And I think also as well that I find sometimes, like you were saying, I'll go into someone's wardrobe and they're like, oh, I'm just so sick of seeing that. Like I wear it all the time. I'm like, well, what do you wear it with? And they'll say, well, just these jeans, whatever. I was like, well, why don't you wear it with that skirt? Mix the textures together. It's like, I'd never put those
Oh,
two
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That's where it comes in handy, because I've got a completely, I mean, I've got a brain full of ideas, but you know, I will think outside the box because I'm not used to wearing those together the whole time. To me, they're just two items of clothing that
Yeah.
I can mix and match with lots of things. So sometimes, you know, like you don't know how to mix and match it, but if someone comes along and says, well, why don't you wear that with that?
Yeah. It's a
And I
fresh
think
set
a
of
lot of,
eyes.
yeah, and I think a lot of preconceptions of like, oh, never wear like navy and black. No, you don't wear navy and black. It's like, well, who made that rule? Of course you
Yeah.
can.
Who says? Yeah.
It's a really sophisticated, you know, like a pair of black trousers with a lovely silk pussy bow blouse. That looks so luxurious and expensive and really nice. And what's the other one? It's blue and green should never be seen.
That's it. I was
That
just
old,
thinking that.
yeah.
Red and green. Was it red and green should never be seen? I can't remember. I think.
I think it's yeah. They go really lovely together, you know. And it's when you know your colours and you think about the colour wheel, and I can go. I mean, I've got it here just very quickly. You know, these are all the different seasons of colours you can kind of see. But it's just knowing how you mix and match them into the different seasons, and you can pinch colours. I mean, you know, I'm never going to say to you, I never say, and some people do, but I never say you can never wear black, because I fully appreciate how that makes people get a little bit of a comfort zone. So that's fine. Wear your black trousers, absolutely fine. But you will start to realise how little black goes with colours. Like when you start putting the colours together, there's a navy for everybody. So you find your perfect navy. So that might be your staple piece in navy. And then you start putting the other colours, whether it's the pinks, the greens, whatever blues, how beautifully they go. You then put it against the black. Or actually, that's quite a harsh contrast. So it's just gradually introducing things in your wardrobe, not in one
Yeah, so
go.
accessorising maybe a little bit as well to ease yourself in, I suppose, with the colours if you're not used to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I had one lady who said, "Oh, I just always feel invisible," which is really hard. And I think we tend to, when we go through like perimenopause and menopause, we kind of feel a bit invisible. We don't really understand ourselves, know where we are now. We've got a whole new set of things that we don't know how to deal with, or we're learning to deal with. We kind of get a bit lost. And we did her colours, and she was a beautiful. I think she was winter. So she went in to work and she wore her colours. Like, oh, you look really lovely. You look so nice. And she went, it was just so nice to be noticed. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
That's a really
So
good
yeah,
compliment for you as well, isn't it? Because like
yeah,
you do your job because you want to help people feel good. So when you get that kind of feedback, that's really
yeah,
rewarding, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay, and then
definitely.
your last tip is to invest in yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's what we started at the beginning. We are we're so guilty of doing it. I don't know many women that I've worked with that haven't been. It's like, yeah, they'll spend X amount on whatever they needed for their house, and then it's like, well, what about you? Like, you make things function. If you feel really good and you've got a bounce in your step, then that everyone else picks up on that vibe, and I think that's
Yeah.
really important. And we deserve to feel really good. We're going through a lot of things at the moment with our body shape changes. If we've got that one outfit that we feel $1 million in, then why shouldn't we have that outfit that we feel
But
great in?
also, I find we need to stop making excuses. I find like sometimes when I have clients in and they say, well, I haven't got time for that. And it's actually, well, you need to create that time. And we might only be talking about 5 to 10 minutes. You have got that
Hmm.
time, but you need to prioritize it. Because
Yeah.
how many hours in a week do people spend scrolling on social media? If you were just not to do that and make the time for these
Yeah.
other things, and it's the same thing like
Yeah.
investing in what you were saying, like for investing in that one outfit that you feel amazing in. It doesn't
Hmm.
like we are essentially the linchpin of our
Yeah.
families. So if we're not
Yeah.
feeling great, that
Yeah.
does impact everybody else.
Yeah, it does. And I think also as well, I mean, there's like a whole thing on colour, but colour psychology, it's you projecting that colour onto other people as well. So if like they say, like for example, if you want to be quite creative, quite productive, have something yellow around you. So it could be like yellow daffodils in the season or something like that. It kind of
Yeah.
uplifts the mood. And that's why, like you speak to anyone that does any kind of website branding and stuff like that, they use colours really cleverly to,
Mm.
to incorporate that feeling. So you've got
Yeah.
the NHS that's blue. So, it's kind of calming, security, nature. But then you've also got the emergency service, which is bright red. That's kind of alert. You need to see it. It's a really stimulating colour. So colours have a massive impact on other people as well as yourself. But it is a
Definitely.
whole nother.
Another whole podcast episode. We'll have you back on board. Some really good tips there. But you've got an offer on now for listeners of the podcast. So you've got
Yeah,
two packages. You've got your colour and style service.
yeah.
And if anyone books that before the end of January, they can have 5 outfit suggestions to go with that
Yeah,
for free.
yeah, so I'll just put together some, like, we'll talk about your style and colour in our session together, and then I'll just give you some suggested outfits of ways that you can incorporate that colour and those styles in it.
Yeah, that'd be really good, that. And then for your wardrobe edit, if anyone books that before the end of January, then they can have a mini colour analysis put with
Yeah,
that as
because I
well.
like to know what people's colours are, and I think it's really important still to learn. So yeah, if you book a wardrobe edit with me, I'll just do like a little mini colour analysis and explain a bit about it and how you can then incorporate it into your wardrobe.
Oh, I think that all sounds like a great service. Maybe I should book in. So all anyone needs to do is just mention Essex Menopause Coach when they book with you, and then they'll get that offer.
Yeah.
Charlotte also has a free download on her website, which is 9 steps to find your style. So her website is charlottelovestyle.com. And I'll put that in the notes anyway, so people can click on that. But I'll put your Instagram and your LinkedIn on there as well, so everyone can find you. And I think that's everything. Is there anything else you want to add?
I can go on for hours.
I think the thing is, I think we both could. Let's draw a line under it. Everyone could be here for hours. And then thanks so much for joining me this morning, Charlotte. I think everyone's got some really useful information out of that to get their
I hope
confidence
so.
and back and get out of their style rut. So thanks for joining me today. And
Thanks for having me.
oh, a pleasure. I enjoyed having you. Yeah, hopefully come back and listen again soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.